Welcome to another episode of Kreston Menon Deep Dive. Today's topic with my fellow colleagues Dinoop and Ravi, we deep dive into a very hot and a very popular topic, electronic invoicing. Let's take it ahead. As new compliances get introduced and we face new challenges, new situations, new themes and laws coming into it, with e-invoicing, I really want to start with a very simple topic like what is the business sentiment when they hear the word electronic invoice? Because there is a lot of commotion at the back end where people say that, oh, now PDF is dead. Oh, I cannot send image based. I cannot send scan copies.
Yeah.
So how does it start? Like, does it really end the PDF version where we are, or it's just like a new compliance chapter? What are your thoughts on that?
Sure. So I think it's a very topical topic, so to speak, and it's been trending on the social media and in our space for quite some time. We have seen multiple events, and I think we have done a lot of events where we have said we are deciphering e-invoicing, we are decoding e-invoicing, we are navigating e-invoicing, and I think the session that we did recently was simplifying e-invoicing.
Okay.
So all these are not just adverbs, meaning they're all there for a reason. But something that I strongly feel, and I keep repeating to all discussions, is we're not really reinventing the wheel here.
Okay.
E-invoicing is all about the way in which you transmit invoices. Maybe from a traditional PDF that you would take a printout, give it to your customer physically, or send as an email to your customer physically. That is going to change. It is going to take the route of a PayPal network.
Okay.
Within that infrastructure is how the transmission would happen, and you will have a service provider, which is an accredited service provider, who would be translating your data into an XML format, and that is how the transmission would happen. It is as simple as when you transmit information, you are going to also report this to the FTA on a real-time basis.
Okay.
You're putting FTA in CC in your email. That's essentially what is going to happen.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's like you're having different email mechanisms. You have Google for your company, your Gmail as your system, and another company has Outlook as your system.
Yeah.
So similarly, to a supplier and a customer has two different ASPs, and between them they keep sending these invoices.
Yeah.
Of course, in an electronic format, which is standardized.
Yeah.
And now we have invoices that might not look the same, but in an e-invoicing, ultimately it becomes all the necessary data is transmitted, and it is and then it is reported on a real-time basis to the FTA.
Yeah.
So that is where the concern is, because let's say you have a system which is not really compliant in terms of either EAT or something, then you have a problem, because you will need to then correct your invoice. You will be sending something to your ASP and the ASP rejects it, then you will have to again correct it.
Yes.
So
Correct.
you may then face a lot of compliance issues, because you have all of these deadlines for raising invoices in 14 days and so on and so forth. So that is where that transition becomes important.
Yes.
This is like Ravi was saying, this is going to be dead, but not so soon. I mean, you still have
That's
6 months for the larger entities,
Yeah.
6 to 7 months for larger entities, and the smaller entities almost a year.
Sure.
But it's not that long. It might look like quite long, but there is not enough time. Actually, there are a lot of things for companies to do, and all the larger companies definitely we feel should be quite ready by maybe October, November, so that they can do their testing.
Yes.
And then be ready by the 1st of January 2027.
So, Dinoop and Ravi, you pointed out very well. So, that's one of the common assumptions, entities and businesses, and even largely the consultants do take a norm, is that, okay, it is more of a system-based? No, it is more of a compliance-based. Yes. Is only a technical team required? No. You need a functional team also who will do a functional scope. It is actually remapping of, let's say, VAT getting introduced, but in a digital world completely.
Yeah.
So what people really need to assess now, it's an overall impact of the business.
That's true.
So how do we take that next step on that?
Right. Vishal, I think this is one of the critical elements, and also adding on to what Dinoop just mentioned about the time that it takes,
Yeah.
because it is a project by itself. It's not an IT project. It is not a tax project. It is not a finance project.
Yeah.
It is an overall business project.
True.
Because you need stakeholders from across the business process.
Mhm.
You need your IT team. You need your tax team. You need your finance team. You need your AR team. You need your AP team.
Even your projects team, maybe
Your projects team. Yes.
yeah, all your different activities, your purchases, your whoever is, you're the person who gets the invoice also.
Yes.
Everybody comes into the loop actually.
All the touch points of your business are actually required to understand what is this transformation that is going to happen. And I think while as a concept, it may not be complicated, so to speak, the impact it has on the business, the number of people who are stakeholders to this, who need to be aware of what this entails, I think that is what is bringing in the complexity. And that is why, as Dinoop mentioned, the time that each business needs to invest to kind of be prepared is very critical.
Yeah, true. Because one of the assumptions that we have over here that businesses usually take is that I'm not VAT registered, I'm not required to do e-invoicing.
Correct.
My revenue is zero, I'm not required to do e-invoicing. Now, this wrong answers which they have been fed with not referring to the law is also impacting them.
Yeah.
Because like Dinoop mentioned, there are 6-7 months, but there are due deadlines. Like 31st of July, which was the due deadline to appoint an ASP, which got extended now recently, 31st of October. Still, it is, you have to appoint
Yeah.
for 50 million number.
Yeah.
Yes.
For below 50 million, you have to appoint by 31st of March. But
Yes.
you still have to. It's not that
Yeah.
whether you are registered for VAT or not. So this is one where, Ravi, you mentioned very rightly that, yes, it is not a team, only a part of a department where I will say, okay, guys, only you are responsible. It's a company. You're working as a team. We are here to help you end to end completely. Please try and understand this.
Yes.
Technical people will come. They will say, okay, guys, this is what you need to do from a coding level. But again, from a functional perspective, that's what brings me to the next version is like through e-invoicing, what does FTA want to actually achieve? Like, is it tax transparency we are talking about? Or is it really data now that becomes important to the core subject matter? Because till date, let's say if I was filing tax returns, whereas it was VAT or corporate tax, I used to only give numbers. Okay, in corporate tax, I went one step ahead by filing my audited financial statements where as and when requested by the authority and as applicable by law.
Yes.
But through e-invoicing, what is where the FTA comes in? What is their main target behind it? Can you shed a light?
No, worldwide, if you read the statistics worldwide, you see it's observed that once e-invoicing comes in, the collections, the VAT revenues, the indirect tax revenues for the government obviously goes up over a very short period.
Yeah.
So it does bring in a lot of transparency from the regulator's point of view.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is definitely one of the reasons there could be a lot of VAT leakage. Of course, we see in VAT compliance also the FTA coming up with different clarifications or guidance. So maybe like recently we had the scrap metal RCM, which was again related to the VAT leakage. So that the authorities do across the world, authorities do come up with different new clarifications or new approaches to tackle that. And then e-invoicing is something that is going across the world in different parts of the world. It is getting introduced in the last few years, maybe a couple of years or so.
Yeah.
And it is being, now UAE is one jurisdiction where this is going live. Maybe in a couple of years UK is going.
Yeah.
So there are many countries going ahead with e-invoicing soon enough. So the VAT leakage and
that's true. No, I think that's a very valid point, and it's the most common use case. So to curb VAT leakage is the most common reason why jurisdictions do adopt e-invoicing. But if you see when the Ministry of Finance introduced e-invoicing, and it's still available on their website, the objectives that they spoke about kind of went one step further as well. While they spoke about ensuring there is no VAT leakage, they also made sure that there is a larger vision in place.
Okay.
We want to navigate a little more towards having a digital economy, like one source of truth, which is reliable, which is real time. And that data, they also wish to use for very informed, data-driven decision making. So think of any incentives that the government wants to bring about.
Okay.
Think about certain industries that wants to be incentivized. You will have very granular level data, which is reliable, which is real time, which can have you can do a lot of analytics on that.
True.
And the insights that you get is uncomparable to anything else that you would have had. It would have all have been hearsay otherwise. So I think that is usually an undermined objective of the regulator as to what the intent would be. And I think e-invoicing plays very squarely in UAE's vision of being a digital economy.
True, because that's where they want to be. And now data transparency does help the government, the individual, the business, and the world also to tell them, okay, guys, we are data transparent. Whatever data you want is shared in real time, and it is accurate, it is correct. If there are any errors to be identified, that is also getting amended, and that is also been shared to the authority. Because there is no other way. So that's what, like Ravi and Dinoop, you mentioned very rightly, because of data leakages or VAT leakages, as we say, this will be completely be eliminated over the phase-wise implementation, as we see. What the businesses should be aware of that, they need to do it right now. The assessment, the planning, the onboarding, the go live,
The gap
analysis, everything.
Yes.
Whatever errors were there, or let's say you did not know, please identify it right now. Get it assessed and prep it once you start the implementation process. Because in e-invoicing, once you validate an invoice, there is no mechanism to recall. If I'm completely, it's gone. Now this is where it gets interesting. It's gone to the FTA.
Yes.
Now let's say you're dealing in 2 tax period, a scenario, and there is a cutoff. On the last day you issue an invoice and that invoice is incorrect, which is already gone. You can't change that invoice anyway. The only way is to now issue a tax, but that goes in the next tax period. And now you have to do a reconciliation, which FTA is not aware. The FTA at the time of filing will say, hey, you have a liability, you have to pay. But you know that's an incorrect one. So this educating and making them aware becomes more critical. So telling them again goes back to the foundational rule of what they want. Okay, we want data transparency, but we also want you guys to be aware that, okay, guys, be careful of what you punch in. That's
a very interesting way that you put it, because one of the use cases, like you mentioned, could be difference in tax periods. See, every time we speak to a business, they usually come out with so many very unique cases, industry specific, business specific, that we start thinking ourselves, okay, how is e-invoicing going to change all of this? And literally that is what we are doing right now. We are stepping into the shoes of the businesses. We are trying to assess as a business owner, how is it going to impact? Because a lot of operational changes will happen. A lot of processes will need to change. A lot of convenience related processes will now need to be revisited. You will have to have a sit down with your suppliers or your customers in a lot of cases, and all your approval mechanisms, they need to be tightened. All your a lot of things will definitely need to be revisited, and that is why we invest a lot of time in making sure the impact is actually quantified, it is presented to the management, and then you make a plan, and only then you actually get into the projects, because otherwise you're shooting in the dark. You don't know where to start.
And I think this will also bring in a force many players who are right now probably not that compliant. No, because now going forward, every customer will demand an invoice from you. So you cannot have a case where you are not registered or you're not hearing the requirement. So the compliance will be forced upon them, not by the regulator, but by the market itself. Because if they do not do this, they'll be pushed out of business.
true, absolutely. Because
nobody will not be willing to buy from a supplier who is not compliant with the
but it might also affect on the other side in this way. Like, let's say if I am in the first transition, and let's say I only have my customer who's in the second transition, I may also push him, okay, guys, please come forward, implement. That is step 1. Step 2 would be like all the legacy softwares. That's going to be impacting a lot. Because though we say e-invoicing, and when we say implementation happens in 2 ways. The law gives you 2 options. Either I go with the integration module, where I integrate it. Now, can all the softwares be integrated? Yes. But that takes time and effort, which the businesses may not. So the business may choose a very safer and an easier approach. That is what changing the software. But now for smaller businesses, changing the software is easy, but not for big businesses. That would be one difficult decision. They need to take a call, and they need to take it very soon. And they have to be ready that, okay, if I don't have a team I need to tell the team, guys, please,
Yeah.
we would need your effort. So again, that is where we come in, the ASP team comes in, their technical team brings in, because we always hear a lot where businesses say that, oh, this is more of a technical person, this is not functional. How are you guys
What are you doing
connected?
here?
And what are you doing, in that perspective? Then we go down, we deep dive, we say, okay, guys, here, from the start till the end, it is more of a functional scope. That is what we all three discussed right now also. What I understand is that it's more getting more functional in nature rather than the technical. The technical team is like, okay, guys, discuss, decide, agree,
Tell us what to do.
tell us what to do. We'll do the coding and our part is done.
Yeah.
That's it. Because the testing again goes back to us only.
Yeah.
You will do the UAD, you will test. The guy who's actually going to punch in the invoice
Yeah.
is going to be responsible.
Yeah.
So he literally needs to know, okay, this will be standard rated. This will, okay, over here, I have to select this over here.
Yeah.
Because now out of the 50 mandatory data points,
Hmm.
few are very critical.
Yes.
Like in the invoice, earlier also as per the VAT laws, you were mandated that if the date of supply and the date of invoice was different,
Very different. Yeah.
you were supposed to mention, okay, not levied upon heavily, not, if you see most of the invoices, they don't mention it or they mention the same date.
Yeah.
Now electronic invoice, you have to mention both the dates.
Correct.
And the system at the back end is going to calculate
Correct.
whether within 14 days you've actually done the needful or not. So it brings that to that okay, the data, the process is getting assimilated in such a way that there is no two way now. It's only one way. You have to do the right way. You have to map everything and then get the right answer. Otherwise, yes, penalties would be awaited and automatically it would be charged.
Yeah.
But that brings me to the next topic. Like,
Yeah.
should businesses be scared that, okay, how should they approach this? Proactively, or let's say, let's wait and watch.
Yeah.
That's what does the
Interestingly, in Feb 2026, meaning I think end of Feb, two interesting publications were made by the Ministry of Finance.
okay.
One was E-Invoicing guideline,
Uh-huh.
and one was a manual for how do you go about selecting an ASP.
Correct.
Now, both of these are very proactive measures from the ministry and simplifies it in a very, very nice fashion. Just talking about what is absolutely required. Just talking about if you are stuck, because ASP is a critical element to this entire ecosystem. How do you select an ASP? Because as we speak, there are 30 plus ASPs,
Yeah.
and it is going up day by day. We started out with 5 in October. Now with this abundant choice, how do you go about selecting an ASP? I think we all touched upon the same point about there needs to be a dual approach. One is, of course, being compliant is there.
Yeah.
Two is by being compliant and transmitting your data, what exactly are you getting exposed to?
Yes.
So I think right now we need to focus on preempting those questions rather than waiting for the compliance and then those questions to come from, let's say, the regulators.
True.
I think we all need to spend a lot of time on taking a step back,
Okay.
asking those hard questions, asking if it is actually compliant or is it business convenience.
Yeah.
Is it just something that we have evolved and it is convenient so it is there?
Okay.
Or is it actually compliant? And if it is not compliant, then is it a big exposure for me?
Mhm.
I think it is high time that we started asking those questions as business owners, meaning every business owner needs to ask those questions. And do not delay the appointment of an ASP.
Yeah.
In the sense,
Yes, he was mentioning abundance of ASPs.
Yes.
But we have maybe close to 1 million companies in the UAE.
Yeah.
True.
And we have 30 ASPs.
Yeah.
So it's quite important that you appoint an ASP. When you evaluate the ASPs and make the
Yes.
appointment as soon as possible, so that you have enough time to prepare and get.
True. Because by the recent ministerial decision also, where let's say they have postponed the appointment from 31st of July
July to
26 to 31st of October. Though that is a relief for some, but it's not a relief for any businesses. Still, the go live remains the same for you. That is 1st Jan 27 and for 31st of July
yeah,
27. That remains still the same.
Yes.
So the businesses are not going anywhere. Guys, your deadline still remains the same what you're doing. That does not change. Yeah. So what Dinoop you're mentioning is quite correct. But Okay, so we understood that that's going to be more compliant. There's going to be a mix and match approach of, let's say, it's not going to be only proactiveness. I have to choose
Yes.
what is right, what is correct,
Yeah.
and what is benefiting me as a business.
Yeah.
And how in that team I can assimilate and, make this happen as a success rather than, thinking hard that, okay, where I will go, what I will do. But do you see yourself having some shortcomings based on, or let's say, I would not say shortcomings straight forward, or let's say challenges on that part where, okay, this I have to choose. Okay, like ASP selection might be a challenge. Let's say if it's a business sensitive model, a price sensitive model.
Yeah.
That is one. But practically speaking, what would that be?
So, especially if you're talking about selecting an ASP, and one of the key things that were also given in the guide or in the ministry publication was in terms of how they align to your business model.
Okay.
So I think you will have a certain business plan. You will have a certain trajectory. Will your ASP also follow a similar trajectory? Will they shift their focus? So let's say you are a small company right now, maybe 1,000 invoices a year.
Yes.
Maybe next year you will be 10,000, 20,000, 30,000.
True.
The ASP that you select today, are they also able to handle the volume that you would be expected to handle? These are hard questions that you need to ask today, because I'm not saying that you cannot change your ASP. It is just that the time and effort that you put in now, it needs to last you for a few years. It needs to be there. It's a long-term decision.
True.
The second one, which I always feel personally, is the response time of an ASP is critical. See, at the end of the day, all your commercials put aside, a partner, a service provider who picks up your call.
Yeah.
That is what is most important, because this is not a reporting exercise. If there is a downtime, that affects your business. So you need somebody who can provide you those support services, who can give you that sense of comfort, who can reassure you that everything is happening smoothly. I think that is what.
And you'll be confident of what happens later. Even if in a case where you have a requirement to change ASPs, you should be confident of having your data in place, getting you 5-period data.
Correct.
Also,
how
if there-
much will they support? Will they support?
if there is a change of system also, how they will help you. Let's say.
Yes.
Because there are many entities which we hear a lot is that right now I'm on this system, but I cannot do it. My head office and my group entities are going for a system change. That will happen over the period of time.
Yeah.
Okay, how will this ASP help me?
Correct.
Some businesses do ask this question.
Yeah.
But then some businesses like, okay, we will see a wait and watch approach. Can you give me an alternative option?
Yeah.
Now, for a volume smaller, okay, the ASP is able to give you.
Yeah.
But let's say an entity having 100 plus invoice and he's like, I want to go for an alternative option. It will be viable, but in a long term, it is not viable.
Yeah, that's true.
Now then ASP would be like, okay, for a business I would give, for a hard hitting ASP or a consultant also would ask the business, guys, this is not the right answer. Be practical. Okay, spend the money on the integration right now on your current system. Get it integrated over the period of time. Once your system changes, do the process again, because FTA is also implementing this system in a phase-wise manner. Right now we see B2C transactions are not covered.
Not that, yes.
They are yet to come in. Once that comes in, it's a rush of transactions. We are looking at it from a business perspective. So that is yet to come in. So they are also giving you that time and effort. You also take that time and effort.
Yeah.
Right now, maybe your B2B transactions may be covered in your current system. Once B2C come in, then the system may not be viable. Then you have to pick and choose this. So it's going to be a proper planning, restructuring, the decision making. Yes, like Dinoop, you mentioned, like, can I onboard, offboard my ASP? Yes, you have a full right to do at any point of time. But is it really worth it? Then it's better that you choose the right person at the one go who will assist you till the end. Ravi, you also mentioned rightly, like, it's not an implementation process of, cost effective, one time done, and it's forever.
That's it.
Because the law is going to change. There will be clarifications coming in, which will have an impact on the system.
Yeah.
Like, one of the challenges that people will face that we talk about is that, let's say if I'm in the first phase and my client is in the second phase,
Correct.
the electronic identifier for that
Will not
to
be.
transmit will not be there. So till now, I'll be using a dummy identifier because I need to complete my compliance as a first stage of compliance. Once he comes in, again I have to update. So now updating the master data also becomes important. Now this is cyclical.
Yes.
Because not my data for buyers and customers will keep on changing. Again, I have to redo. So this all goes into a systemized process. So it is very effective with both of you saying the right thing, that it is a long-term project. It's not a one-time project if we are looking at it. But it's quite good to see that, okay, businesses are somewhere forthcoming on this idea.
Yeah.
But anything else that is more important, do you see that apart from this? Okay, so we understood that, okay, they have to be proactive, they have to be compliant, there are shortcomings on this side. But any other major highlight which you feel that, okay, it should be important right now?
See, for me personally, it is two things.
Okay.
One is taking that stand back approach in identifying, in just asking questions.
Okay.
Because this, since it has a cross-cutting theme, it is going to affect multiple departments, and identifying those departments and making sure they are trained properly is very important.
True.
Because all touch points of the business needs to be aware, needs to be trained.
Yes.
For me, the second one is when you are exposing this data, what questions are you exposing yourself to? When they're also taking the same approach, take a step back and then see what are the different data analytics that can run.
True.
Can this be correlated to, see, corporate tax VAT is a very, very standard thing. Can this be correlated to your customs, for example?
Definitely.
Can this be correlated to, let's say, your ICV score? It's a very, very common use case. It's a very, apparent use case that is out there. Can this be linked to anything else? So there, meaning if we take a step back, we can think of possibly, let's say, 10 use cases.
Yes.
I'm sure with the data analytic capabilities that a regulator will have, that will be in hundreds. Right. So I think you need somebody with an external perspective. Let's say, for example, if we step in, this is what we try to do. We kind of brainstorm and then see, okay, this is possible in this particular business. I think there we will be able to bring in a lot of value. I think that's what we need to do right now.
And there's a risk, for example, like we was mentioning customs, for example.
Yeah.
Now, maybe yes, at present, it is not that integrated, but we don't know going forward with the technology coming in, many things that are now in different compartments, in different regulatory authorities.
Yeah.
All of that might get integrated. So something that we are not so much worried about now, which it's a business owners might think, okay, we'll address it later, but that may come in later, and you might regret it at some later point.
And that's really
And I think that kind of brings us to a full circle where we started from, and how things are moving in a direction where everything is interconnected. Right? And data is king. There's no two.
So I think that comes to our conclusion part of very well, where data is going to be everything going ahead. So yeah, it was really interesting too. Like we started off with where VAT came in as a law.
Yeah.
Over the period of time got introduced, and now we are in that age of where data is everything.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a very interesting topic. Thank you for listening to us. We'll be back with more interesting topics and Kreston Menon deep dives.